Help me grow, fast or slow, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Help me learn, soft or stern, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Life's a movie, the ultimate trip. You should have been told you'd be digging for gold. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Digging for Gold. I'm Dan Goldberg, as you probably know. I'm your host. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. You go to dangoldberg.com, and at the bottom, that's my website. At the bottom, you'll see all the icons for YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, and other social media platforms. So don't forget, subscribe and or follow, okay? Today is episode 42, and I have two really interesting guys here today. And if you own a home, and you know how expensive that could be when things begin to change in the home, when you want to see things done differently in the home, when you want to repair things in the home. I have JMS Remodeling here with an LLC at the end. It's got an LLC.
Got it. Fancy.
Okay?
A lot of buildings out there.
It's like Jim Miller, Matt Szajdecki.
Here we are.
Here they are.
Yeah.
Here they are. So here's a question. You guys have been in business for what?
About 6 years? Yeah, about 6 years now at this point.
So how'd you start? What happened? How'd you get into all these people that want to start businesses out there that are watching this? How did you guys decide to go into business together? What was that evolution?
Well, naturally, we were sitting at a bar.
Naturally, of course.
Yes. And we decided that we were tired of working 80 hours a week, working from home after we got home from work, running ragged, working all hours of the night, and thought we could have the skill sets between the both of us to be able to put something together that we could have freedom of schedule, be there for our families, our kids, not miss sporting events and things like that. And, you know, that was the idea, was to be able to, you know, do it ourselves, be able to come home at a timely hour and still have the internal motivation to kind of get up and work for ourselves every day.
What were you doing before, though?
So we were working for one of the larger companies that does the same exact thing we do now.
Right.
So Matt was more on the front end. Him and I both started in the same position. He was actually one of my managers there on the sales and marketing end of things. And then I transitioned to the operation end of things. So Matt had been doing this for, I guess, 6 years at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I had been doing the operations thing for about 5 years at this point. And then, like Matt said, we had a beer. It's like, okay, you can do the front end, I can do the back end. Like, why the heck are other people, making money off of us? Like, we can make a good living for ourselves, doing the same exact thing and on just a much, much, much smaller scale, to where we can kind of control the entire process of everything. So ultimately, homeowners are having a good experience, with friendly faces that they know well.
And they know you guys. So
Yes.
You do the whole interactive thing.
Yeah, we're very hands-on as owners of the business, and a lot of times homeowners, and we're homeowners ourselves, we appreciate that. We don't do everything, so we have experience with contractors ourselves from both aspects, from a business owner and a homeowner, that I think is invaluable, and we can offer that unique perspective.
And do you have crews?
We do, yeah. And, to just tackle on what Jim said, all communication is run through us. So it's pretty rare these days where you see a business, where the owners of the business are so hands-on.
Right.
But in terms of the crews, and that was Jim's world at our previous employer, is, we've known these crews for 10 plus years. We have relationships with these guys. Every roof that we've ever done has been done by the same crew. Same thing for siding. With windows and doors, that's another crew as well that we know, not just professionally but personally. So it's easy for me to go into the home and make promises to the homeowner because, I'm not dealing with a random stranger that I know is going to be doing the work. Like,
right.
I know it's easy to say this is going to happen, knowing it's happening on the back end. And I think that's where a lot of homeowners are probably I wouldn't say swindled, but also kind of maybe it's just a lot of fluff. And we know with us, because there's not 10 hands in a cookie jar touching the project from start to finish, there's 2. So communication is a lot more linear.
I like the term swindled. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
People getting swindled. And they do.
Yes, of
People
course.
do get swindled. I get it. So when you do that, and when you're working on jobs, okay, and you're working at somebody's home, you do inside and outside, right?
Mainly exterior.
Exterior?
Yeah.
Suppose
Like-
somebody says, I want like something inside,
So we've
my
done
walls.
certain projects we've tackled like
Yeah.
that before, but again, it's someone that we've known for a very long time. We
Right.
never want to stretch ourselves too thin, which I think a lot of times people that are going into business, they do. They just say yes to everything,
Right.
and then things go wrong, and then they have no answer for it. With
Right.
us, like that's part of why Matt and I, we talk more than our wives to each other, much to my chagrin. No, but in all seriousness, it's something him and I speak in
Right.
text like constantly over and over again. And from a previous life, a lot of times it was the sales end of things, handing it to the operations end of things, and then the operations end just has to figure it out.
Right.
And it's
Oh,
just
I
like
get it. Yeah, I
tough,
get it.
tough. I'll keep it PG, but tough. Whatever, and just deal with it. And whereas Matt and I, we're in lockstep. It's like, hey, if this isn't going to work for JMS, and our reputation can't risk something like this because we are a small business, and one bad review, one bad negative thing in a neighborhood that dramatically affects our income directly. We take it very, very serious.
It's interesting to me because, and you're really focused on exterior.
Yeah, it's just our specialty. So, if we had someone that we could trust on the interior side of things, that we could sell you a kitchen or whatever, 50 kitchens a year, awesome. But we don't have that
Right,
repertoire right now. And if we had that, Matt, go ahead, sell all the kitchens you want.
Yeah.
Or whatever the heck you want to do.
That's actually really cool. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
It also helps us stay in our lane.
Right.
Like, we're not going to take on a job to take on a job. I think that's where the complaint rate in the industry is over 80%.
The what other
The complaint rate in the home improvement industry, whether it's exterior or interior, is over 80%. I think that's
Ooh.
probably one of the major reasons why people are so hesitant to do home improvements, why they go out and get 7 estimates and things like that, because they're trying to sniff out that bad experience.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that.
Wow, I didn't realize that, but it makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense when things happen that people just don't like, and they say, oh, what the hell did I do here?
And then they spend $5, $10, $15, $50,000 on something, and
Yeah.
they still got wrong. Which
got
we
wrong,
try to
and then
avoid that at all costs.
And then they have to spend another $10,000 to fix it,
If not more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
if not more. So let me ask you this, and I'm very curious about this. What are the biggest problems that people have? What are the things that most people want to fix
Well,
on exteriorly?
I mean, exterior roof is always going to be the necessity. If
Right.
roof is leaking, there's no, okay, let me put a Band-Aid on it and wait.
Right.
Windows can be drafty, windows can be cold, they can be non-operational. You can live without operational windows. Same thing with siding. Your house could be a color that you hate. It's pretty rare that siding is the first thing to go, because it's more, I think people view it more of a luxury as
Right.
one of the last things to do to kind of change the facade and look of their home. Roofing is number one. That's the bulk of our business. I'd probably say it's probably about 70% of what we do.
Wow.
Because if a roof is leaking, the
Forget
world
about it.
stops,
Yeah.
So in terms of roofing, just the biggest variable in it is plywood replacement.
Really?
You can do an attic inspection, which is we do all the time, but you really don't know what has to be replaced until you take the roof off. And that's probably the biggest variable with roofing.
Wow. So it better be leaking before you take the roof off.
No, I mean, sometimes you want to get ahead of it, though,
Really?
because roofs don't last forever. The roofs will last 20 years, sometimes more, sometimes less. And you never know, and they're only getting more expensive. So that's what's tough about roofing. Some people wait until it's inside their house, and then it's too late. Then you're
Right.
replacing 10 sheets of plywood. What most people, we try to, implore people to do is kind of get ahead of that. So maybe you're replacing 1 or 2 sheets, because we've had many, many scenarios
Yeah.
where we have those tough conversations. And it's like, guys, not only do you need a roof, but you need 50 sheets of plywood. and just that is thousands of dollars. You want to get ahead of that before being on the back end.
Let me ask you this. So you're taking the roof off, okay? You got to take the whole roof off.
Gotta take it all off.
All right. So, but I see what you're saying. If the rot
Yeah.
is bad enough, all the plywood has to be replaced.
And that's
If the rot is not that bad, it's 2 or 3 pieces of plywood.
Right.
then
That's not a big deal.
Not the end
It's
of the
not a
world.
big deal.
We kind of live by like a year early is better than a minute late when it comes to roofing.
Right.
You know, I think most homeowners know the average roof is going to last between 18 and 25 years old.
Wow.
We've even seen it more. Homeowners insurance companies are getting more stringent with how old the roof is, where they're telling homeowners, like, listen, if you don't replace your roof, we're not going to insure it. So, you know, when it comes to roofing, you definitely want to be ahead of the curve. And then, as Jim said, roofing goes up at least once a year, every single year. 5 to
Towards the
7.
cost of the materials.
Yeah, 5 to 7% every single year. So,
Wow.
at the end of the day, if you have the money and you know that it's older, the only thing you're doing by waiting is you're just creating more damage and paying more money.
Huh. That's interesting. So that's number one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fix your roof. If it's starting to leak, what are you doing? You got to fix your roof.
Yeah.
What's the next thing?
I mean, as far as what we do, or just
Yeah,
in general?
what you guys do.
Yeah, I would say windows. You know, people, just because they're more functional, people
Yeah.
like to open their windows. You know,
Right.
You know, with nice days like today, it's
Yeah,
been
that's true.
6 months since we've had that where I can open my windows. I don't know about you guys.
70s.
Yeah,
I mean, I can speak from personal experience. I still have the original windows in my house, and I
Right.
do not want to spend money to replace them.
yeah,
Windows are not. It's not the fun one. You know,
No.
neither is the roof.
No.
I get it. I do
And they're
get it.
expensive. Like,
yeah. So
Yeah.
windows, doors, you use them the most.
Yeah.
Like Matt was saying, siding's mostly aesthetics, and it's more of like an emotional thing because you're changing the facade of your house. Unless you're building something like a portico or like a back porch or something where you're changing the structure of the house, you know, the things that you urgent need is usually roofing by far and your foundation. Like the rest of the stuff can kind of take care of itself, but like if you do want to open your windows, if you want to enjoy the cool breeze, that stuff can help. Siding, now they do have siding products that can insulate the home, which is huge. You got a 2,000, 3,000 square foot home, you can wrap that entire home in a nice insulated blanket. That's just going to cost some money, and full siding jobs aren't cheap.
Yeah,
But-
but they will save you on your
Absolutely.
and they
energy bill.
They
Yes.
also come with a pretty high return as well.
Yeah.
I would say siding for me, because I'm on the front end, so I help design the homes and things like that. It is the most rewarding because you can not just for me, but also for the homeowner.
Right.
You know, when you when you buy a home, you typically bought someone else's style, their color preference, and things
It's
like
true.
that. When you can make it your own, add accent pieces to make a cookie cutter house look more custom. For a tenth of the cost, it's pretty rewarding. And then
Yeah.
we have a pretty nice pocket where we work, all Bucks County and Montgomery County, but
In the Philadelphia area, folks, in case you're listening to this in Turkey or
Yeah.
Canada and so forth.
it's all
Canadian audience here?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got people
is-
from all over the world.
it
Really.
is super rewarding to see the final product. And when we drive by, be like, we did that. Like,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
My next door neighbors it was a stucco house, and they just, not just, but I guess about 4 or 5 months ago, redid the whole,
They take the stucco off.
took the stucco off.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but they did it on their own because the families has construction.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
But then they had to get people to put the siding on,
Right.
right? So
Yes.
they put the siding on. It was very interesting to watch, I can tell you that.
A lot of hammering.
A lot of hammering, too early, but. it was
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
9
But
o'clock
it's-
at night.
Yeah, sometimes, but my wife and I would look at each other, and we go, it's worth it. We can take
Yeah,
that for
stucco,
and-
for sure.
And the people are so nice that we just want them to have a nice looking
Right.
house.
No, helps your value too.
It does help my value, yeah, it does. So I'm looking at my house, right? And you brought up something that was very interesting. Do you guys build add-ons?
Certain.
We can.
Yeah.
We usually do, if we're doing a combination project, like if we're doing all the siding,
Right.
and someone wants to add a portico, we've done that multiple times, and it turns out great.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a couple additions here and there. It's not what we set out to look for, but
Right.
it is definitely something that we could fit under our umbrella of installs.
Wow, okay, so, hey, if you want to add something on, you know to call. Not Ghostbusters, these guys, JMS.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this. What was the most challenging job you've ever had?
Challenging.
In what context?
Yeah, what-
from an
It was,
installation.
really
from a-
hard installation.
I mean, there's a difference challenge between installations and homeowners. There's
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll leave the homeowners out of it.
Oh, the
We love all of them.
Wow, we love all of our homeowners.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Challenging install.
I'd probably say Borinski was
Should we not use
tricky.
their names?
Yeah.
can always-
Yeah, that one was hard.
That
We
one was
can always
tough.
clip it, edit
Yeah,
out,
just
whatever.
edit that
Yeah,
one
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay. That was tough because there's sometimes it's easy to do a roof. It's, for the most part, it's conceptually easy. Crew, materials, done. Dumpster.
You do it in a day?
Yes, most of the time, depending on the size. But sometimes there are things that involve all of our products, and we have to kind of do that, and kind of weave that dance from start to finish. And I don't want to be in a situation where I do your roof, and then a month later I can do your siding. It's like that's part of what like Matt and I always communicate about is like a job like that where it's 6 of our products that we offer, like all 6, or I don't know how many we offer.
It
at
was
this
a-
point.
that was a lot.
It was like everything we do. I'm kind of back and forth with the crews, but fortunately, he has the relationship with me. I have a relationship with the crews. He has a relationship with the crews. We can all kind of get on these group
Right.
texts and like call each other and like call the homeowners and explain that situation. So I would say that one
Yeah.
because we're ripping down a chimney.
Yep.
We're waiting on a HVAC guy. We're waiting on a window,
Door, I think.
door,
Yep.
metal roof.
We extended.
roof.
Three quarters of
Yep.
their siding. Like we didn't do all of their siding. So
It was more than 3
Wow.
we
quarters.
did underneath their porch in carpentry.
Yeah, and
Um,
we lifted it.
Yeah, so the jobs like that where it takes your brain, like sometimes like with a roof you can kind of shut your brain off and there's not a lot there, but when you're mixing all the products and like that kind of stuff, like
Just I would say the logistics
for
of
sure.
all of that was tough. Different crews, like Jim said, different times of the day, and you have to kind of coordinate it as best as you can because when the chimney comes down, well, how do you waterproof it?
Yeah,
and
get
you
a
don't.
hole in
And
your
you can
house.
do it. You can do it as best as
Yeah.
you can, but at the same time, you want the turnaround for that to be covered up as short as possible.
Great point. Like, if you're putting on a new roof, you do check the weather forecast, right?
nah.
Nah, we risk it.
So you're getting your roof this day?
There's
Crew, get up there. I don't
There's
care
that
about you.
hail today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting pelted in the face.
That's
with
that is a fun part of it. We've got caught in a couple swales before.
Really?
But
One
I mean,
bad one, but-
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, we err on the side of caution.
Yes.
And I would say, all of our homeowners understand that. If there's it's funny how it works. There will be 20% chance rain, and we work and it rains. There could be a 90% chance of rain. It doesn't rain all day,
Yeah.
and the homeowner's like,
Could have been out here. I took off of
and-
work.
and,
It's like,
you know,
we get it.
It's like, but would you want it to rain with all your roof on sitting on your lawn?
Right.
So we are on the side of caution.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, we've never had a super serious issue that wasn't able to be controlled.
No, not with JMS, previous company.
Yeah,
Well-
different story.
What do you do with stucco?
Oof.
Remove it immediately.
How do you
Uh,
remove it? Is it like a multi-tool oscillating?
It's
or
a-
like,
it's
It's
a lot.
not. There's no good way to do it.
It's
Yeah.
loud, it's dirty, and
Yeah.
it's labor intensive.
Yeah.
And expensive.
or like my uncle had a popcorn interior in his Pocono house.
Nasty.
Well, they put the 1/4-inch plywood over, or the sheetrock instead of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of
But
times
it's still
like,
back there.
With
Yep,
stucco,
sure is.
like you're probably watching your neighbor do it. The reason why stucco, so I have a masonry background. That's what I grew up doing.
Right.
My father's been in business for 35 years at this point. That was my summer job. I had to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with masonry and things like that. So back then, and especially in the 90s and early 2000s, these builders were building houses like crap. I'm assuming maybe that's when your house was built. So they're not waterproof. So the moisture and mold stays in the house. So that's why people are having all these stucco issues. So then you got to remove the stucco, which you're doing with a multi-tool, you're doing with a saw, hammers. Like it's a dirty, dirty job. But then you have black mold on a lot of the plywood.
Ugh.
And then you got to resheathe the whole house in certain scenarios. You got to take out the windows, put them back in,
Yeah.
do all new flashing. It's
That's probably the dirtiest stuff that we do.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mold. You got to wear a mask for that, don't you?
Not outside. I mean, but as long as, so when we're doing stucco remediation, and we've done a few of them now, there's usually a lot of plywood replacement underneath of that.
Yeah.
Just because when you're doing new construction stucco, it's never done right. There's the layers of water protection are not there. So that's why people tend to take stucco off. And, when I was looking for a home, stucco was not even an option.
Yeah,
I
full
couldn't
wrap stucco home.
couldn't even look at it.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even look at one. No offense.
Yeah.
If you have one.
Just so happens. But what can who knows?
You can pay us a lot of money to take it.
I can. Would you take? They don't make pennies anymore, so pennies are worth a lot more. Would you take a whole
We
jar?
would need a lot of pennies.
Yeah, a lot of pennies.
All
whole
of the
jar.
pennies.
I got a whole jar of them.
Give me them all.
Okay, you got
We'll
it.
help you out.
By the way, if you hear a voice off camera, that's the famous Alex, who's back after working on a feature film in New Jersey.
Quite an experience.
Quite an experience.
Also, at the same time, we had mold remediation done to the beach house, which tons of people have problems there. Now you got me thinking, is it inside? Because all we did, they had really good drywall crews. So they pulled off some of the old drywall. They ran dryers, and then when they put it back, it all looks beautiful. But now I'm wondering if it's on the inside too.
I don't want to open up a can of worms or anything. But,
Wow.
So that's why a lot of times people, as it relates to exteriors and stuff like that, they have testing where they literally will drill into your walls in different spots around your home from the exterior, and they can test how much moisture is behind the stucco. That's the problem. If it's behind the stucco into your sheathing, which a lot of times we've seen it where the plywood comes off and the pink insulation you have, like the Pink Panther stuff, will be black as this microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
How about cedar shake? It's cedar shake. A lot of stuff at LBI is.
Yeah,
You do see,
It's
yeah,
down
you
the
do
shore.
see it. Yeah, you see a lot of cedar shake down the shore because it holds up against the salt in the air so well.
Yeah.
And then when it shrinks, it has that tiny tooth in the mouth. But some of them are 60 years old and still hanging in there.
You have to maintain it.
Yeah.
For it to last that long. And now there's faux cedar, which is essentially just vinyl,
Plastic side.
plastic.
Yeah.
It looks nice as an accent, but you don't want to cover. You don't see a lot of full
Down the
houses
shore,
wrapped
you'll
in
see
it.
Down the shore a little bit.
One side got
So
really
what-
bad and moldy. So last spring I was up there on a ladder in my wetsuit in a day I don't know. Not today's really nice, but a 45-degree day, just with a hose.
Ugh.
And basically the cedar's so soft, I had to hand scrub it out, and we had anti-mold stuff.
It was real cedar you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
cedar.
By
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way, did you hear what he said? He was up on the ladder in his wetsuit.
Yep.
So he.
OSHA's calling right now.
Yeah, he surfed
Don't
all
use
the
that
way
acronym.
over there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple things. All right. You were in the service,
Mhm.
United States Marines, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What was your MOS over there?
Okay. I was an intelligence analyst, which is an oxymoron to
Which
most
is,
people.
you know what oxymoron is, right?
I do.
It's a cleaning detergent for people who aren't very bright.
In the Marines, we drink it. So, no, in all seriousness, yeah, did that. I didn't deploy doing that, but, we, in the Marine Corps, they kind of they move you around a lot, and I deployed to Iraq to the western side of Iraq with a military police unit. I'm not an MP by trade, but they just take guys and you're doing this now in Iraq. So, yeah.
Are the military police Marines? Or usually I think of military Marines, because I was in the Army.
Yeah.
As Army.
Yeah, I mean, they have MPs in every, I'm sure they have Air Force MPs,
Yeah.
Army MPs,
So you were dealing with Marine MPs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
I
wanted
deployed
to-
alongside them, trying to train the Iraqi police, the Iraqi border patrol we were on the Syrian border, the Syrian-Iraqi border, which then it was,
Okay.
it was fine when I was there. Now, not so much.
Right.
Things change over there, as you know.
Yes.
Day to
But
day.
fortunately, we were safe out there, made it home. Our whole platoon did, so.
Did you
we did
teach
okay.
them mold remediation over there?
No, everything's moldy over there.
Everything is moldy over there.
It was just moldy and dirty. You just gotta deal with
It's
it.
sandy.
A lot of dirt. It's just dirt everywhere. It's like
Really?
a baseball infield as far as the eye can see.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not deployed there. But
No.
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So what made you guys originally go into this business? not just become partners,
Yeah.
but what made you say, I want to go into construction or remodeling?
That's a little easier for me to say just because I grew up in it. Like, that was something, like I said, my dad has been in business since I was like 8.
He's a mason?
Mason, yeah. So he's Miller Masonry, if you're looking for your masonry needs. No, it's a very, very small company. You know, he started, you know, kind of similar like we did, but he's more hands-on doing the work himself, and that was what I did. So I was very familiar with that life, and went to college, went to the Marine Corps, went back to college, but like I still kind of gravitated into this in more of a sales aspect. So I learned, you know, kind of the back end and the front end, and then went back to the back end, just in a different industry.
I get it.
Matt was a little different. Like this was, you know.
I mean, I grew up working in retail,
Yeah.
working in malls. I just, since I was 14, you know, I was just used to talking to people. So, you know, the company that we work for, you know, they were a sales and marketing firm. They just happened to sell roofing, windows, and
Right.
siding. You know, had great experiences there.
Yeah.
Some of the best, you know, sales
We
training.
learned everything there.
That's
Like,
where we
it's
learned everything.
Not
You know,
not to knock them, do what they do. It's
Absolutely.
just not our model.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
it's their
We
model,
have-
which is good for them.
both of us left on good terms.
Yeah.
You know, just wish them nothing but the best. But from there, you know, I went and saw the other side of the industry. Worked at a roofing manufacturer just to kind of get a little bit more knowledge and broaden my knowledge of the industry as a whole. Worked for a historical restoration company. Just
Right.
again another kind of avenue of this whole industry, and then.
But on a much smaller scale too, which taught you a lot.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so you're working for $100 million, now billion-dollar company, going to a $10-15 million company. You know, kind of seeing it scaled down. You know, kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and that's kind of when we started talking. Like, we can do this. Like,
Yeah.
Well, do you ever do solar roofs?
That's something we're very interested in. Right now, the biggest issue is, you know, we're you know, the kind of full, you know, whole spectrum here. We're only licensed in Pennsylvania. I think we want to kind of keep it that way, just
Yeah.
to kind of keep our circle close. Certain states are more advantageous from tax purposes and tax benefits for solar, specifically. Jersey's one of them where they have a lot more incentives to do that. It just all, we're not going to get political or anything like that, but Pennsylvania is not as strong as New Jersey, and I don't think we're going to cross that border necessarily. But that's something it's very much on our radar. But for right now, they don't have the infrastructure necessarily figured out to make it beneficial to the homeowner, meaning cost effective.
Right.
The homeowner would have to come out of pocket a lot, unless you're kind of doing things.
like a lease.
Yeah, like a lease
Yeah.
for your roof and things like that, which we don't want to get into.
A lease for your roof?
Yeah,
Yeah, a
there
lot
you
of
go.
the problem with solar companies in PA is there's a high turnover. There's been so many companies that come in and out of the industry, and then they end up getting sold off because for whatever reason. But there's two ways you can put solar on your house. You can buy the panels, which is the very expensive way, where you're spending $80,000 and it's going to take you 15 years to recoup before you start making money off of it.
Right.
Or you can lease the space of your roof. So you don't own the panels, but you do get the residuals and you get benefits of energy savings. But from an aesthetic, solar panels like that we know of, I am not a fan of.
Yeah.
There is other solar things that are happening in the industry in terms of like solar looking shingles. But again, there's just not enough information out there. And again,
It's a little early in that process to
where
do that.
and where we're
Great
located, it
Yeah.
just doesn't make much sense.
If you're in Florida
That's
or Southern California.
yes. We have
So we have very good
yeah.
relationships. So a lot of the people so every manufacturer has their own sales reps that work with contractors, that work with supply houses, things like that, and they're kind of the middleman between that. We have a couple of the guys we know that we used to work with now work for these companies, and we've sat down with them, and they explain to me how it's done. I'm like, my immediate mind, and I'm sure Matt does too, what's the benefit for the homeowner here in like a reasonably cost-effective way?
Right.
And it's hard to find that right now. You can do it, but then most people have a hard time justifying for a roof that's going to last 30, 50 years, whatever the case may be, spending $80,000 to do it.
Yeah.
When they can spend 15. and get it done and kind of kick the can down the road.
Right.
And they might not get those benefits from a like a whatever your electrical supplier is. They might not get those residuals back, and it's like I just came out of pocket $65,000.
Right.
What's the benefit there? And I can't justify putting
Yeah.
an $80,000 roof on a homeowner's house.
That's
The-
very interesting.
The other thing when it comes to solar panels that people don't think of this is that eventually the roof is going to have to be replaced underneath of it.
Mm-hmm.
To remove and reinstall solar panels can sometimes cost more than the roof itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the
It's-
companies that lease the space oftentimes don't tell the homeowners that. They'll put these solar panels on people's roofs that are already 15 years old. And then in 10 years, they got to replace their roof, but they're like, nah, we're out of business, or you got to pay us $10,000 to remove and reinstall.
More than that.
That's being.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had we had a specific situation where the roof was, call it $20,000. Big roof.
Huge.
Had
Huge roof.
50 plus solar panels on it. To take the solar panels off and put them back on was $25,000.
Yep.
And the homeowner was only going to be there for 5 more years. And he's like, I can't justify spending $45,000 right now, where I don't even care if the solar panels are on the roof.
Yeah. And we were under contract with them, and we found this out after the fact, and we shook hands, parted as friends, and gave him his deposit back. It's like, we'd love to help you, but he couldn't justify that, and we're not going to.
Well, can't you just remove the solar panels and then put on a regular roof?
Yes.
You can, but you still have to pay someone to get up there, take them off, dispose of them.
Oh.
And on these really steep 12-pitch roofs where there's 52 panels, remove one solar panel is between $300 and $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just chuck them off the roof like a frisbee. You
Yeah,
got to
and-
kind of do it safely and properly.
And then what happens to those panels? Are they disposable? Do they have to go in a?
I'm sure you can recycle them somewhere, but that's
Yeah.
just not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's not what we get into.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh.
just the long game there.
Yeah, it is a
You
long
know.
game.
Mhm.
It's a very long game.
Very.
And talking about long games, I know that, and we've had real estate people on here, financing people on here. We try to get a diverse group of people in business on this show. And what do you see happening to the inventory of homes? We always hear there's not enough homes, we gotta get homes going, gotta build more homes. You guys don't build homes, right?
No.
No, you repair homes.
Right.
Okay, remodel homes. What do you see in the future of homes in the United States?
It keeps companies like us in business
Yeah.
because every house built within the past 25, 30 years, usually the complaints are they're all built like crap,
Yeah.
for the most part. So there's houses built from 1950 to 2025. And, they don't build them like they used to.
Right.
And the ones now all need new stuff. And these builders aren't getting any better. They're
Wow.
still cheap. They're cheap as heck. They use
Yeah.
the PG language, and that's unfortunate because people are spending $1 million on these beautiful, architecturally beautiful houses, but they're built like garbage because they have bad crews, bad material, like the cheapest possible materials. That's why the term builder's grade materials comes into
Right.
play. And sure enough, we come 15 years later and we replace it,
And the other thing is everything
which is
that's
good for us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is good for you
Every-
guys, but
Everything that's
Yeah.
installed is all man-made products, so it's all built to fail.
Mm-hmm.
All roofing shingles these days are quote-unquote lifetime, but
yeah, but there's lifetime.
Exactly, there's
Yeah.
lifetime. And warranties transfer, but most of them kind of get forgotten about, and
Right.
people are going to still be replacing the roofs every 25 to 30 years.
So that's a very interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lifetime warranty. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So I would say specifically with roofing, back in 2010, that's when they got rid of the 20, 30, 40, 50-year shingle, because still to this day, when I see a homeowner, like, we need a 30-year shingle. I'm like, that doesn't exist. So
Oh, wait a minute. How
it's
long
all
is it?
lifetime. Everything is lifetime now. So it's still technically 50 years. But the reality of it is if the warranty is not registered, if the warranty is not transferred correctly, it won't go to the next homeowner.
If the crew is installed, or the owner has the wrong materials, certain manufacturers need certain materials in there,
Yeah.
and that it has to have their name on it, like whatever.
What do you mean in the warranty?
Yeah, like if you don't include one of the materials and sub out like a material you just had laying around, you're just like, okay, I got this particular product, I can put it on there and the roof will be done. But then if something goes wrong with it 5 years down the line, the manufacturer will go out there to do an inspection. Like, oh, I can tell that's not our whole roof warranties
Wow.
out the door.
That's who knew?
Speaking of, you were saying like homes in general, I think the average now is people aren't staying in their homes for 50 years. We don't see that often. I think the
Right.
new average is around 19 years. So if
Really?
someone puts a roof on, the average is still, you put one roof in your lifetime. You stay there for 19 years. You're going to forget that you have a warranty. The homeowner
Right.
coming in the first 30 days is going to forget to ask to transfer it.
Yeah.
There's so many ways for the manufacturers to get out of it, but it is good marketing. Because when you hear lifetime,
It's great marketing. It's like one of the gutter companies.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
They have transferable lifetime warranty, but
Maintenance free forever.
Yeah.
read
Right.
that fine print.
Yeah.
do you guys work in that stuff? You must. Have
Yeah, the
probably-
gutters.
do gutters.
We do gutters, and we've heard people. That's one thing that's like with us. We will gladly have the hard conversations up front with homeowners.
Right.
Sometimes, there's people that are on the front of the business that will gladly pull the wool over your eyes, and all of a sudden you're left, with the taillight warranty, and God knows what the heck's going on. You have a question. That's why we give people our personal cell phones. A lot of times we have group chats with like all of us together. Because there will be people that are like certain companies that will go out there and say, like, this is completely maintenance free. You'll never have to get on a ladder again. It's like, all right, it's like we will gladly have that difficult conversation. It's like, no, you actually have to go up there every so often to do this. And like, okay. And I generally feel like people appreciate that approach more than the salesy, gimmicky gimmick.
Yeah, I just like my landscaper. Fortunately, goes up there
Yeah.
for me.
Do you guys do drone inspection?
We have a drone.
We have, yeah.
Nice.
But usually it's this guy getting up on the
Nice.
roof himself.
Yeah, yeah.
And depending if it's like a 12 pitch roof, like a really pitched roof, like
Yeah.
that's a little different.
My goal is to go home to
Yeah,
my wife and
right.
kids at night.
What kind of safety gear do like the roofers have to wear during? Because I'm like, I don't have health insurance. Sometimes I do handyman stuff, and I'm like, no ladders, no second floors.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole OSHA, everything has to be very accounted for.
Like, do they wear a harness? Is there like safety
guys will be
lines?
harnessed in depending on the
Yeah.
pitch.
They want you to, but like, this needs to be off camera.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Sometimes efficiency and what happens on the job
Correct,
site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
definitely roofs where those real steep ones where these guys are harnessed in.
Yeah.
Like,
You got it.
But seeing these guys walk on a roof is just is insane. It's like they're standing upright and they're this way.
That's like guys that work on bridges.
yeah.
Seriously.
Same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I like growing up in the industry. Like I was 14 years old, 3 sections of scaffold high, acid washing brick with 2 planks.
I
Like,
want to edit that part out too.
I mean, it happened.
Child labor
how old
laws.
am I now? Child labor.
It was your father.
Yeah, it's my dad. No, but that's just what you did, and like that's obviously on the ridiculous end of things. I love my dad, but like that
Right.
might have been problematic. But like there's certain times where like OSHA gets involved, and like it's overkill. So a lot of times, like you see 6 dudes with a harness on, they all got ropes and wires, but they also have their compression lines where they're using the nail guns. And there's 12 wires up there, and they're tripping over them. So it's like,
Kind of counterintuitive.
yeah.
Just
so
hang on to that air gun.
I know, but it's like almost doing more harm than good.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
OSHA in our factories, in my optical place.
Yeah.
You got to wear the eyewear, you got to wear the.
They want you wearing hard hats on the roof.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going to
Yeah.
fall on you? Like, come on,
Right.
it's 100 degrees out.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah, in my lab.
Do you guys use
you
battery
had to
tools
do
or air
that,
compressor
so-
tools?
air compressor.
Air
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you also, when you go into a house, okay, and the person wants stucco, I'm going back to stucco.
Yeah, you're on the stucco.
'Cause I'm an
Get rid of
idiot.
it. Don't do stucco ever.
God,
Do you have
guys
stucco
better
in your
get
house?
over to my house.
Man.
What do you think? Should we get them over? Do I have stucco?
What's your address?
We'll talk after the show's over. No, I do have stucco, and stucco sounds like one of the Marx Brothers. There's Groucho,
Yes.
Harpo, Stucco, and some of the other ones,
evil one.
Gummo and Wacko, I think. But anyway, so you guys don't do power washing and stuff like that, right? Or that's like a different thing.
I mean, that can kind of segue to a little bit of what we do. So
Yeah.
power washing is something where, a lot of times homeowners will ask us, do you do this, do you do that, do you do this, do you do repair work? That's why, because we're so specialized, like for us to kind of take on something that like we are not comfortable doing or like we can't handle to do, we're not outfitted to do, we unfortunately have to say no to. And like that's sometimes a tough conversation
Yeah.
because homeowners see home remodeling and like, oh, you can do everything. It's like, but specifically with roof repairs and things like that, Matt gets asked all the time, can you repair my roof? It's like, I got to take my foreman off my crew, and then now my crew is short because we have one crew. Like that's just not something that's in our business model. We kind of stay in our lane. That's something huge for us. Is like we don't want to come out of our realm for like this particular thing. It's not like we don't want to like service our homeowners. That is first and foremost our priority, is making sure they're things are done the right way. But like we don't want to have to sacrifice our integrity to do it just to make a quick buck.
Yeah. Repairs
Yeah.
are something you don't
Makes
see
sense.
too often anymore either. Also, they cost a fortune because someone asks us to do a repair and we do it for $400. We now own that roof.
Yeah.
Because the next problem they have is going to be our fault.
Right.
So
We didn't
you
screw
know.
up the roof in 10 other places. It's
Yeah.
like we're fixing this
Right.
other one.
I
Right.
get it. So you
Yeah.
just want to replace the roof.
And for more times than not,
Yeah.
or if
Yeah.
you have a 5-year-old roof and you have a shingle blow off, it could be repaired.
Right.
But it's going to be tough to find someone that is going to not charge you $2,000 to do it, because
I get it.
depending on the size of the company, they have to spend money on gas to get there. They have to their insurance money comes out of that. Like
I get
it's
it.
a lot of stuff people don't see behind the scenes.
And they have to make a profit.
Of course, that's
Yeah,
the whole
I mean,
point.
you're in business
You're
to-
in business.
You gotta
Yeah.
make a profit. I mean,
We're not trying to like, kill people with as far as like the cost of things. But like Matt said, maybe $2,000 might be egregious, but like even if it is $500 to fix one small thing, like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't feel like it's right for homeowners to spend that kind of money when say something costs $40, like these other companies are charging $500. Like I don't want to take advantage of homeowners.
that's
Have
a
you
beautiful thing. You
Not
know,
what we do.
I'm reading. I always do my research.
Yeah.
I know you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
but I love your 6 things: service, customer centric, hands on, determination, integrity, and attention to detail. That says it all.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Podcast over, right?
Yeah.
We're done.
No, we're not.
Oh, we still got time?
No, we still got time. But it's funny because in business, any business, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, my landscaper, I love him. He's been my landscaper for 30 years. He owned the company. He worked for the company he owns.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy he bought it from worked for the company
Yeah.
before that and bought it. And then the guy from that, it was like 3 or 4 generations of him
Handed down.
selling,
You love it,
handed
yeah.
down. So I've known him, but one day I said to him, "How come I have to teach you how to upsell me?" He said, "What do you mean?" And I did this with the guy who worked on put in a new bathroom for me. I said to him, "I got to upsell. I don't get this. Don't you understand that there may be more things that I need, that you see, that you're not
Yeah.
bringing up to me?"
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was kind of bizarre. So now he upsells me all the time. He
You
upsells
asked for
me.
it.
Yeah.
I got a whole new pool out of it.
It's like, "Senor, we can do that. We can
Nice.
do this. We can do that." And the other guy, he was just, he went upsell too. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not, and a lot of people think like, wait a minute, if I'm going to get something done on my house, I know that there's a chance that they'll see other things and try to upsell me. And upselling is exactly what I've just said. It is seeing other things that you can do
Right.
to get another
Yeah.
job out of it. But sometimes, and you guys may do this, I don't know, it's beneficial to the homeowner.
100%.
Most of the time it is if it's done the right
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, and that's more my world.
Yeah.
Because like I do a lot of the inspections and initial meet and greets and things like that. And the way I think about it is like if I had a plumber in my bathroom fixing my tub and he noticed that my toilet was leaking and didn't say anything, well, he's terrible at his
He's a
job.
jerk,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
he's
Help
hitting
me
out.
out
It's
here,
like,
please.
yeah, this is your expertise. Bring me the information. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it.
Right.
And how it correlates to our world is, if a homeowner tells me they're going to do their windows 2 years after replacing their siding, well, it actually makes more sense to do them at the same time, just from a labor perspective.
It does.
We're going to have to undo the things that we've done to your siding if you want certain types of windows, and that's just one example.
Skylights are
Skylights,
one we see most of the time.
Skylights.
If you have a skylight on your roof and you're replacing your roof, please replace your skylight, unless it's 3 years old.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to sit right ever again. And the contractors that are out there, I would say most of them are just going out there and trying to get the low hanging fruit. Don't want to have the difficult conversation that, as Jim is saying, we do. We've lost jobs over it.
Yeah,
and
really?
100%.
And that's
there's-
okay. That's okay.
And that's fine. But if you are replacing your roof and you have a 20-year-old skylight and your mindset is, well, it doesn't leak now, it's not going to leak after 6 guys are stepping all over my roof and banging for 8 straight hours, well then, you're in for some bad luck after that. It's going to leak.
We've had that happen before, where the homeowner was like, "Nah, skylights are good." And these giant 4 foot by 4 foot skylights, and in North Wales,
Yep.
you know what I'm talking about.
Sure do.
And he had 2 of them, and he's like, "Matt, we're not going to replace these skylights, Jim. We're not doing it." Sure enough, within 6 months?
6 months.
He's like, "Yeah, my skylights leak. Can you do it?" And we had to replace all the stuff around it. It's like, "We told you, sir."
And the cost difference, at
enormous.
that point,
Yeah.
to replace both skylights was $1,800. When he called us back 6 months later, it cost $4,500 because I now have to send a crew out there for at least half a day. We had to rip up a brand new sealed roof, put the skylight down.
I get it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word upsell. That has like a negative connotation.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate in this industry because
It is.
a lot of times, Matt, you typically run into this where homeowners' defenses are so sky high that these contractors are going to come in and try to close them right then and there on the highest possible dollar. It's like, no, we're just trying to give you advice. If you take it, awesome. If not, that's cool too.
Right.
Like, we'll still be nice to you. Like, that's fine. And it's something we kind of have to fight through that stigma that all contractors are bad and they're out to steal and.
There is a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definite negative.
It
We
can
try
be
to
done-
avoid that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be done in a
Consultative way.
it can be done in an unsavory way
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
But again, my goal when getting out to someone's house is give them the information, tell them what options are available, how they could increase the value of their home, and if they decide to go without doing something or just bare bones, hey, that's their decision. I mentioned metal roofing to you briefly earlier.
Right.
That's a super unique market that people don't think they can afford because it just looks custom and it looks expensive. Well, and that's actually the beauty of it. You
Right.
can turn that plain cookie cutter house into a custom looking home if you do a little accent of metal here and there.
Wow.
But most contractors are, I would say, probably afraid to bring that up because it's going to increase the ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that $10,000 roof just went to a $13,000 roof, and they're like, "Oh, I just rather take the $10,000 roof." I
Really?
made my money. It's
Yeah,
like,
but it's
the
nice.
homeowner doesn't want
It is.
that. That's why what Matt does and what we've done as a company is what do you want? You're the homeowner. You tell me. If budget was not a thing, what do you want?
Yeah.
And we can kind of figure that out and customize everything.
Great. That's a
Yeah.
great point.
It is.
It's interesting when you talked about the skylight. I had a visual. I sometimes think while I'm doing this show,
Oh,
nice.
And the visual was people saying, "I don't want to change my skylight" in their living room, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, they're watching the Phillies game on TV with an umbrella,
Yeah.
and it's
What
like,
happened?
hey. It's taking it to another level. I'm sitting in the stadium. No, you're not sitting in
Yeah.
the stadium. You're in your living room.
3D, 4D.
Umbrella.
Would have been better than watching the USA game last night.
Yes,
I
that
turned
was
it off.
bizarre.
Yeah,
That's
I turned it
bizarre. I'm a
wild.
big WBC fan.
Sorry.
Bizarre.
That's
But
tough to watch.
you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Looked like
See,
the
I mean, the
Phillies
Phillies
in
did call me and ask me to play center field before they brought up the rookie, and I said, I got to do my podcast.
Yeah, this is more important.
JMS
Yeah.
is coming in tomorrow. Got to
Who
be
is?
on my game.
Yeah,
JMS is coming in tomorrow. I have to be on my game.
Right, that's right. You heard that, right? JMS coming in tomorrow. I got to be on my game.
Priorities.
So,
Appreciate that.
what is the worst thing you've seen? You've gone out for a job. Somebody's called you, and I'm asking you this so the people out there get an understanding of like, oh, I didn't think about that. Maybe that's happening to my house right now. Stuff like that. I mean, what's like a common thing that you go out to do and remodel that you see almost consistently or a number of times?
It's more you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's
moisture
it's-
issues in the attics for sure. The people just assume is okay.
Yeah. I would probably say, the mindset of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That
Right.
too. Yeah.
That's probably the worst because again, once there's so many layers that actually water has to get through to show up in your home. You have to get through the shingle. You have to get through all the underlayments underneath that shingle. Plywood is more times than not half inch thick. Has to get through all that. Has to get through your insulation, which is super dense and absorbent,
Right.
just to get to your drywall.
Yeah.
And if you're
Right,
seeing stains
wow.
on your ceiling, your roof has been leaking for probably 3 to 5 years. Unless it's something, a
has been?
storm that blew something off, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're seeing stuff on the inside of your house, you're probably 2 to 3 years too late, being proactive. That's probably the most common thing that we see.
You're making me
Also,
think now.
also people having 2 layers of shingles, which is,
What?
yep, that's a big
Oh,
no-no.
we get that.
That's-
You just put another layer on top of there, right?
Yeah.
No, you can.
People actually do that?
That,
we've seen
that's
4 or 5
That's old school
layers.
roofing
What?
right there.
That's people earning
Yeah.
a quick buck. Okay,
Yeah.
here's $1,000. We'll do your whole roof for you.
So if
You get a
you're
new roof.
So code in PA is that you can technically have 2 layers of shingles on there for weight purposes.
Wow.
But from day one, if you put a second layer of shingles on top of the first layer, you have no warranty at all, regardless of what your contract says.
What about this commercial I see where people are spraying the
Yeah.
roofs? What's
I mean,
that?
that's a lot of times people put they'll put like zinc strips at the top of the roof at the peak, so like it gets wet and it cleans the kind of the mold, the lichen that's on shingles. So a lot of times people have areas of their house that are like cut with a lot of tree coverage, so it doesn't get a lot of sun. So the moisture will be retained within the shingles. So they'll start to see like black streaking all along the roof. So people will spray their roofs or put the zinc strips at the top of their ridges, and it'll wash down and it'll get rid of that mold and lichen for the time being, for a short period of time.
Okay,
That'll
so
just come right
that's the
back.
commercial I see.
Yeah. You want to avoid a power wash
Yeah.
on your roof. If you're going to do any type of spray, like you can do, we were talking about cedar earlier, like cedar roofs out there, you can get cedar roof cleaned for aesthetic purposes, but that mold and mildew, it's always going to come back.
Cedar roof.
You want
I
to,
see the roof every time I walk out of my house.
yeah,
I
you
walk
do.
out.
You do cedar
It's a
roof.
cedar roof.
Zing.
Yeah, you never want to power wash your roof.
Really?
Don't do that.
Well, they have granules on the shingles. They're designed to stay there for a reason. Like if you have all the granules all in your gutters and in your downspouts,
Oh, I
Yeah.
get
it's not
it.
protecting your house anymore.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Please don't do that.
I never knew that. Did you know that? Those granules on the
They wanna
shingles,
be
folks?
on the shingles.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
on the shingle.
Not in the gutter. So if you're
Right.
getting your gutters cleaned out by your landscaper, there's a lot of pebbles and granules in there,
Yeah.
call me.
Yeah, well, now.
How about the stucco too? Both
Yeah.
I got your numbers in my
Yeah.
phone now.
Sure do.
But this is so interesting. I find this fascinating that all these people out there, all of you who are listening here, you probably have stuff on your house and in your house that's deteriorating the house and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes ignorance is bliss, though. You know.
It is. I know that.
And
Yes.
I would probably say that's the number one problem with siding, because you can't see, like if you have for roofing, you can see if you have a leak. It's going to
Right.
come in through your attic, eventually come in through your ceiling.
Right.
Siding is a little bit
Mhm.
different in that aspect because it's like, it's unknown.
Right.
You know, if you start seeing damage on your interior wall because you have a siding leak, that's been going on for a long time. You have outlets in your wall, like it's nothing you want to mess around with. So, like, goes back to the point I said earlier. It's like everything is man-made. It's all made to eventually break down.
That's true.
So, like, when you have siding on your house that's 45 years old, if you don't mind the color, it doesn't mean it shouldn't be replaced. Like, there's been upgrades, and there's times where we take siding off and there's no wrap underneath the house. That's pretty common for
nothing
early
waterproofing the whole
90s.
house.
Yeah, early 90s building. Like where there's no tieback.
I had a neighbor who, down the block from me, that's exactly what happened. They got water and stuff because it was never wrapped.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was more often than not in the early '90s, before Tyvek came out. I think they just assumed siding was waterproof. That's not the case. House wrap was oftentimes was like an option, like a builder's option. Like, oh, this is an extra $1,000. People are like, nah, I don't need that. We never needed that before. And sure enough,
Wow.
20 years later,
Did you ever, this is kind of a weird question,
I love
but I
weird
just
questions.
thought of it.
get weirder.
Did you ever take a roof off and, there's the attic there and whatever, and there's a whole bunch of mice or rats or anything?
Squirrels are common.
Squirrels? Squirrels.
I've seen a flying squirrel.
You did?
Right at me. Almost fell through the attic floor.
Yeah.
That was
Really?
fun. Yeah, attic
Nice.
inspection.
Wait a minute, a flying squirrel was living in this house
Yeah, in the attic. And we weren't even doing the roof yet. I was just doing the inspection.
Yeah.
and it flew at you?
It jumped at me. The homeowners heard me from downstairs.
So how'd you get the squirrel out of the house?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not an
You got
exterminator.
yourself
I got
out.
myself out of the attic.
But did you ever open up a house and see these rodents in there?
I mean, we'll see mouse droppings
Yeah.
very frequently.
Carpenter bees are a problem.
Carpenter bees, big problem. Yeah, we always got spray for that.
Really?
But I mean, it's rare you open up a roof and all of a sudden you see a family of raccoons or something. Like it's
Yeah.
That-
We had a raccoon
yeah,
come on our roof and so forth.
yeah. Squirrels are they're
Squirrels,
relentless.
I
Squirrels
forget it.
will get their-
They,
get
they,
in.
they figure out a way to get in.
Yeah.
They eat right through this.
Yes, they do.
stuff.
Yeah.
mice
Cut your trees
are
back.
just-
Yeah.
Cut your trees back for sure.
It's crazy, but one of the things is they were here before we were.
Yeah.
We built the houses around where the mice and
It's their own
and the
fault.
squirrels and the deer were
Yeah.
here and the raccoon
Yeah.
and the fox and the birds and all this other stuff. So we're in their territory, but they're saying like, hey, Mr. and Mrs., you're sort of in our territory.
Yeah, let us in.
We're gonna move. We're gonna move in.
And it's warm in your attic,
It's warm. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
especially if you're under insulated.
If you're under insulated.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
Like
Wait,
that- you like
it's-
that- you like that
It's
segue?
warm
Yeah.
in your attic if you're under insulated.
Correct.
It's a problem if your attic's too warm.
That also
Means you're
creates.
heating your attic.
That also creates
so the
roofing
attic
problems.
is warmer,
Heat
What it
rises.
should be.
Yeah,
but heat rises. That's
Yeah.
right. That's why we're a hat.
There you go.
a lot
Keep
of
it
heat
in.
up. A lot of heat up there.
Yeah. So, and it's true because if you're bald, the heat flies right
I
out
was
of your
gonna say
head.
that.
You don't.
We got insulation here. You don't have the
You
insulation that
guys
we
have
got.
insulation.
Yeah, we're good.
Wait a minute. That's my hair.
You can
Give
have
it
it.
It's like
back
an
to me.
R16. I'm like an R32. Insulation talk.
All right, so if you had to tell us the things that people should look out for, the major things that people should look out for in their homes, all those people listening to us now, who, and by the way, don't forget to subscribe. You can listen and view us, but subscribe, hit that little subscribe button. It's
So
not a big
easy.
deal. It's nothing.
Yeah, don't be selfish.
Subscribe, exactly. So what would you tell them to, number one, to look out for?
I think more so than anything, it's just the age of the products in your home. It can't hurt. We give free estimates. The estimates are good for 30 days. As I mentioned to you yesterday when I was giving you like a brief synopsis of us, we are not the hardcore one-call close, I'm going to
Right.
pitch you for 4 hours on an iPad type company. We're more of your local contractor. We're going to come out, I'll spend a half hour, maybe an hour with you, review things, do an attic inspection, do a roof inspection. The age, like I said, is if you're in between that 18 to 22 mark, there's roofs that we see that are better than others at that age. But, if it's obvious, it's just pull the trigger. The only thing people that do by waiting is spend more money and create more damage. But for roofing specifically, I would say algae growth on the roof, staining. If you're seeing any dipping in the shingles,
Granule loss.
granule loss. Yeah. If you are able to get into your attic, it can never hurt to get up there with a flashlight, look around.
Watch your step.
Watch your step. Don't fall through the ceiling.
That's bad. Fall through the ceiling.
It's never happened. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But for roofing, it's the easiest. That's the easiest of the bunch. If your windows aren't going up and down, or they're acting like a guillotine, it's time for new windows.
Yeah.
That's
a
Really,
little
the
easy.
guillotine window doesn't work?
nah,
No.
not safe for kids either.
No, it's not safe for kids.
No.
That's right. And okay, so we got windows
Mm-hmm.
to get it up and down or hard to
Yeah.
open.
Mm-hmm.
If they're hard to open. Stucco, try to.
Stucco is
Yeah.
new construction. Stucco is usually pretty terrible across the board. You'll see
Unless it's brand new.
yeah. If you see at the bottom of your windows, the stucco is a darker color than the
Yeah.
rest of the house, it means that it's retaining water. So,
Okay, that's good. Okay.
yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, typically like roof wall intersections where you have a roof shingle hitting the stucco, if it's darker there, probably.
A lot of
take
times
it in.
insurance companies sometimes get involved too because
Yeah.
the builder was so crappy and they didn't do anything about it. But sometimes it gets under the category of neglect and it's just like, it's tough. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
But I've heard of people getting like insurance settlements and stuff with stucco because it's that bad. It's not the homeowner's fault; they don't know. But I would say probably your best bet with all the products, the roofing, window siding. Educate yourself as best you can.
Yeah.
Find a contractor that's going to educate you and not twist your arm to like sell you. That's what we try to do, and Matt does up front: is educate the homeowners, and make just to be as informed as humanly possible.
All right, let me ask you something. This is very important. Okay, I'm looking at the clock, and we're good. This has been so informative. Is that what it is? Do we call those clocks anymore? A clock was a thing that was round and had things going.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like,
Yeep.
what is it? It's make believe. It's digital.
fake.
Yeah,
It's fake.
I got a real watch on. You
do
gotta
have a real
wind,
watch.
wind it and everything.
This I don't have to do, but I see it's 80 degrees
Just
out.
thinks he's better than me. It's fine.
Yeah, you got to wind
You
it.
got a Wi-Fi watch.
The interesting thing is that everything is make-believe anymore.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is all the new materials replacing your old materials, are they better than the old stuff, or are they cutting corner worse?
I would say in this industry they're probably better.
I think they're better.
It's like refrigerators and washing machines that now last for 5 years.
Right.
Like those are
So
much
accurate.
worse than they used to be. And I mean, the homes themselves are probably, as far as like the structure of their homes, are probably a little worse. Just as far as like the lumber and things like that. But as far as the materials themselves, like there are a lot of them that are much better than they used to be. That's why Matt was mentioning like the shingles and the 20, 30, 40. Like now they are, certain shingles are made much better than they used to be.
I would say across the board, material-wise is better.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Just
at the
cost
end-
more.
Yeah. I mean, there's material out there that's, besides vinyl, we also do hardy siding, which is a cement board, which is like the Cadillac of siding.
Wow.
That you see that a lot on custom homes and historical homes and things like that because it replicates the look of wooden plank.
Or like wood windows too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
wood windows.
Just cost money.
Yeah.
Wow.
The regardless of the product you put on your home, they need to be installed correctly.
Right.
So not only have products gotten better, installation techniques have gotten better as well.
Mhm.
But you get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let me ask you this. How do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about their homes and stuff like that?
They can reach out to me personally. Our website, jmsremodel.com. There's a contact button on there.
JMS Remodel
yes.
or Remodeling?
Remodel.
Yeah.
Remodel.
JMS.
Remodeling was already taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to settle for remodel.
Yeah.
JMSRemodel.com.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
There's a
Facebook.
contact.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna
Google. Yeah,
Google
Google
JMS
search.
on remodeling. It's probably the best thing you can do.
Got some
Get in
good
touch
reviews
with me.
there.
They can talk to you, and you're not going to hard sell them.
Never.
No. 30-day price. Everything is the only reason price would change is if we had an increase in price. So that's why the 30 days is there to protect us. But yeah, so, like I said, order of operations for us is come out, you do a free inspection and an estimate. I'm usually able to, depending on the scope of work, I'm usually able to get a proposal out in 24 to 48 hours.
Cool.
If we're lucky enough to earn said business, Jim and I then collaborate. One of the unique things that we do is that, Jim's not there on the day of install. I'm there, or both of us are there, so you get the owner of the business on site. And, as I mentioned to you, we are doing one job at a time. So, that homeowner is one of one that day, not one of 15 or 20.
Yeah.
And, if they need us, we're spread out too thin. So we kind of keep it kind of old school contractor style.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
We learned from previous experiences of what not to do, and we've modeled our entire business and livelihood based off of that.
That is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you. Matty,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you.
Same here, man.
Pleasure meeting you.
Jim,
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Okay? Folks, this has been episode 42 with JMS Remodeling. And you can look them up at jmsremodeling.com.
JMS Remodel.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
No, I intend
JMS Remodel, not ing. jmsremodel.com. And you can get a hold of them there because they got a contact thing on their page, right?
Little button.
Okay? And don't forget, there's YouTube at Dan.Goldberg. There's Spotify. Also, we have TikTok and we're on LinkedIn and Instagram. So follow us and subscribe. That always helps. All right, my friends, here's the last thing I'm going to remind you of. Use your mind. If you don't, others will. We'll see you next time on Digging for Gold. Thanks, folks.